where the replay is going to be. This meeting is being live streamed. Okay. Show me the live stream. Hi, Sarah. Where the replay is going to be. Oh. This meeting.
Oh, you are me. I was saying, you are muted.
Practicing to see if you know the sign language, you know. Just saying if you're here. I know it's late. I know we're mothers. We're just here, just making sure we are here. So welcome everyone. My name is Alexa. As you know, we are streaming this on YouTube, so that you can watch the replay if you need to. And that's going to be live for 3 hours. You can turn off your camera if you don't feel comfortable, but we're going to be sharing a presentation so people on YouTube will not see you. You have the chat next to you, so that you have any questions along the way, feel free to write them in there. Sandra, don't even worry about the chat. I'll guide you through what's happening there. You do your thing. For those that don't know me, my name is Alexa, also known as the Queen of Messy. I am from Kid Activities with Alexa, and I am here to guide you on all things play and how kids learn through play. But one of my missions is to open the world a little bit outside of play and teach you guys or bring resources to help you on all things motherhood, to kind of create a holistic view of our kids. And one of those things will be one of the biggest challenges that myself included have had this year, which is with sleep. So Sandra is a very good friend. We met through an entrepreneurship club, and she has actually been guiding me through my own sleep challenges as a mom and with my son, and I have seen results super quickly. So I invited her to come talk to you guys about it, especially now during the season that is summer. It's still like it's 8 o'clock here and it's still daytime, and telling my son to go to sleep, it's been a challenge because still the sun is out. So we have been getting lots of questions about, you know, what happens when you're on vacation? What happens if my son still takes a nap and I want to go to the beach all day? So instead of kind of sending those questions one-on-one to each of the members of the community, we said, Sandra, let's jump in, let's talk about it. So Sandra, welcome.
Thank you.
So glad you are here. And Sandra also speaks English and Spanish. So any questions after, you can reach out to her and she can speak either language. So if you want to leave your questions along the way in the chat, we can get through those. But Sandra created a guided presentation for us to kind of walk through it so that we don't miss, you know, we tend to talk a lot. So we want to make sure that we are on track and we make the best of your time. If you stay all the way until the end of the presentation, I created a 60-page document with activities for the summer. It is my best activities that I have created for my classes, doing it at home, and my lifestyle with art, sensory, and nature. And I added some science experiments as well. So if you're stuck with some ideas of what to do this summer, I created this book for you. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to leave you a link to a Google document where you can access that right away. And you're going to be able to download it and keep it handy. If you are a member of the Here We Grow method, our membership program, where we kind of guide you throughout the year on this homeschool for toddlers, you will find that resource already in your membership area in the resource links. So you can go to the Here We Grow into our membership area, go to resources, and your document on the bonus downloadables, you'll be able to find it there. So without further ado, Sandra, welcome. The floor is yours. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I have that part on my presentation. So let me open that for you guys. Let me see. Can you see my screen with no problem?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Give me 1 second here while I move this. Oh my God. Give me 1 second. Stop share. Why?
It doesn't let you go.
No,
forward.
it did, but now it's gone again. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try again. Okay, here we go. Now I'm not going to move anything. Okay, guys, I am super excited to be here. Welcome, welcome. I'm pretty sure you are going to leave this class feeling more empowered, confident, and knowing how to navigate playtime routines and sleep. Thank you so much, Miss Alexa, for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be here and talk about my favorite topic in the whole world, which is sleep. And I'm going to tell you right now why you can't miss this class. Because it's vacation time, it's summertime, and I'm pretty sure you already have plans, maybe some activities with Miss Alexa, or you are going to visit your friends or family. And let me tell you something, you can be at the best resort, you can be in Disney, or you can be with your best friends, but if you are around to a overtired baby, I'm pretty sure you are not going to have a good time. So I'm here to give you the best tips I can offer you tonight, so you can navigate playtime routines and sleep. Okay, so this is what you will learn today. We are going to talk about the power of creating healthy sleep habits. I'm going to show you a holistic approach to sleep, managing naps on the go. I'm going to give you some traveling tips, and I also have some questions that Miss Alexa passed to me, and I'm more than happy to help you find some solutions for your challenges. Okay, but before we move on, I want to introduce myself so you know who you are learning from. I am Sandra Ochoa. I am a mom of twins. I'm founder of Happy Nest. I am a certified holistic baby sleep consultant. I am a certified postpartum doula. I've been supporting hundreds of tired families since 2018. I serve as a sleep consultant 24/7. I'm working for two American companies. One of them is Huckleberry. One of them is Joy Parenting Club. And I also have my private practice. And I'm graduated from the International Parenting Health Institute. And I'm going to tell you why I do what I do. Because I became a mom of twins. And to be honest, I set up unrealistic expectations about how was going to be my life with my twins. You know, you have to take care of a baby and you have to change diapers, you have to feed them, and they wake up every 2 hours. And if you you have to manage two babies is very challenging. And I was one of those persons that wanted to take care of everything. It was so hard for me to delegate. And I feel like sleep deprivation took a toll in my mental health. So I wasn't feeling the same. I wasn't enjoying my maternity as the way I was dreaming about. So I decided to change my destiny. I started doing my own research, and guess what? I fell in love with sleep. I saw like all the benefits, like putting my twins in the same schedule, and you know, they were more happy, so I was more happy. And I feel that was my calling life. I wanted to support tired families, and I've been doing this since 2018. So yes, this is the reason why I'm so passionate about helping you tonight. And I'm very excited. I feel very lucky because I found a holistic approach that I'm gonna explain to you in just a few words why I'm so passionate about. We are not baby-led, we are not parent-led. We understand that parents and babies, we are a team, and we cannot sacrifice the needs of parents because, you know, we need to keep the balance, you know, respecting your baby's sleep needs, but as well, we need to take care of you, because if you are not feeling well, if you are sleep deprived, of course, you are not going to enjoy your baby. You are going to be irritable. You are going to be in bad mood. And we have to make sure we take care of the whole family. So a holistic approach investigates all the areas that impact a child's sleep. Because I'm going to give you an example. If your child is not having the right nutrition, they will fight asleep. If your child has a delay, they will fight asleep. For example, if you are experiencing postpartum depression, you are not feeling well, your child will fight asleep because maybe your child can feel your emotions. If you don't have the right environment, or there are so many things. That's why I think sleep is so complex, I'm sorry, because there are so many factors that can impact sleep. This is when I try to play the detective, like when I work with families, I try to understand the whole picture to really understand and get to the root of the problem. I'm going to give you, I always say that sleep is not a luxury. Sleep is a necessity. And I'm going to explain why it is important to create healthy sleep habits. Because better sleep equals a better mood. Let me be honest with you. I am not the same person when I sleep deprived or when I'm well rested. I'm pretty sure you are the same. Better sleep improves your physical and mental health, enhances productivity, create more positive interactions with people, especially if you have a little baby and you have to deal with the caregiver, with your partner. And sleep or lack of sleep influences every decision you make, because let me tell you something. If you are running out of energy, you don't have the energy, for example, to work out, to go and exercise, or to go with, kids' activities with Alexa, because you don't have the energy. And that's why it is important to respect the needs of the whole family. For children, having good sleep habits is also important. There are so many benefits why it is important to respect and create healthy sleep habits. And one question that you might don't know is that most of a child development happens while a baby is sleeping. But when you think about it, when you know all the benefits of sleep, sometimes moms feel anxious because they don't wanna go out. They wanna be stuck at home because they wanna respect. They wanna make sure their babies spend all day sleeping and creating a schedule. And I understand, but it's also important. You will hear me saying balance, 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 because that's very important. Because there are moms that are feeling anxious, they feel stuck at home, they feel miserable because, they have to respect their babies' naps. And I'm going to give you some guidelines how you can manage those naps on the go, or if you're planning to, have a good time and be on vacation, you can enjoy your time, but also you can respect your baby's needs. How are we doing so far?
Good. I want to ask you guys if you want to put in the chat, if you feel like you are one of those moms that have the need to like you work your schedule around those naps. Do you tend to plan your outing to be home for the nap time? Do you feel yourself like you're not doing certain things because of those naps and because you want to kind of schedule everything around that sleep schedule? Also, I just saw on the YouTube stream, if you do turn on your camera, you don't see it. The only video that it's being kind of streamed is whoever is talking, which usually will be Sandra or me, or when we open it up and you guys have questions. So let's see let me see. I plan my days around my son's naps for sure, says Antoniette. Yeah, my sister used to had a timer, and she would make us leave when we were shopping because we needed to go home on time to sleep, and she would actually kick us out of the house because the house had to have a certain scenario. Like, it had to be dark, he had to be in his crib, There had to be complete silence. So it was a whole ritual versus for me, my older son plays basketball and we were out all day. So my son kind of had to learn to sleep with the whistles of the basketball court. And I guess for me, that was a blessing, even though like it caused me anxiety. So definitely Sandy says, sometimes I do and other times I don't. So we have a little bit of everything, different scenarios here.
Okay, so as I was saying, I really like to understand the whole picture, like your personality. I'm not going to tell you, okay, yeah, Alexa had a good experience and maybe you are going to do the same because we are all different. I was more like your sister. So it is important to get to know yourself. That's my first advice. What is your tolerance when your baby cries? Because I have seen many moms that they are so easygoing. They can take the stroller and the baby fall asleep anywhere. The mom is happy, the baby's happy. Or on the contrary, like me, I was dealing with two babies and they were crying, and I end up always regretting why I went out and I felt so miserable. I end up crying and it was like a mess for me. So if you are like Miss Alexa or you are like me, it is important to get to know yourself. Like I always say, when you are dealing with an overtired baby, it's like dealing with a drunk person. And I know it sounds like a kind of funny, but you have to show a lot of compassion, because when a baby is overtired, they are not going to listen. They are just tired and they cannot communicate their needs. So that's my first advice. Like, if you like to go outside and your baby is responding well, don't worry about it. But if you are like more anxious or you don't feel well after going out, you're gonna ask yourself, it is worth it? Maybe you might wanna skip that invitation from that friend that you don't feel comfortable, but maybe you are super excited about going out with Miss Alexa. So you have to be selective if sometimes you become anxious about going out. On the contrary, some moms feel overwhelmed. As I was saying, they feel so miserable when they are stuck in the house all the time. So it is important that maybe you plan some visits, and I promise you, if you follow certain rules, your baby is going to fall asleep and you can always rescue a nap, or maybe you can keep a balance. Maybe you can offer the first nap at home and the second one you can be on the go. It is important to ask yourself and get to know yourself in order to make better decisions. After that, you are going to get to know your baby, because there are babies that are high needs. They cry a lot. There are babies that are so easy to adapt. They can, be next to a band and they don't wake up. And that is why it's very important you get to know your baby. So now you made the decision. I'm going to go out. So my first recommendation is that maybe you want to plan your day around your baby's nap. For example, Miss Alexa and I, we had an activity, and one of the mom was asking, okay, my baby, she takes her nap around 11 a.m. So my suggestion was like, okay, you're going to put your baby in the stroller around 10:30. Maybe you want to put like the portable white noise machine on, and you are gonna, take a little walk. And I'm pretty sure if you are following wake windows and if you have a regular schedule, your baby will probably fall asleep at the time you want. For little babies that are, that are taking more than 2 naps, maybe you want to complete 1 nap at home, because we want to protect, if you're going to be, the whole day out, maybe you want to take that first nap at home. So you make sure you leave your house with a well-rested baby. And if your baby takes a short nap, it's okay. I always tell my clients to be a little bit flexible. If you want to hold your baby, if you want to assist your baby, as long as you set up realistic expectations and your baby knows like the rules at home, maybe you want to be more flexible when you are outside. if your baby takes a short nap, for example, let's say your baby is 2 years old, because I know some of the moms are here, their kids are 2 years old. Let's suppose that your baby is supposed to have 2 hours nap, but if the nap ends up in a short nap, it depends on the baby. But maybe you want to offer a power nap. A power nap is something between 15 to 20 minutes to make sure your baby or your toddler doesn't get overtired at bedtime. I have one recommendation here. Sometimes I suggest that you can offer an early bedtime when your baby was outside all day, they didn't have like good naps. You can offer an early bedtime, but I don't want this to become a habit, because remember, we have like a body clock. And if you don't want to have an early riser, maybe you just want to keep that early bedtime for just a couple of days, but not to be the rule. Otherwise, if you offer an early bedtime, it will end up in an early wake up. And I'm pretty sure you don't want that. So yes, if your baby had a really bad nap and your baby didn't have the opportunity to take a solid nap, maybe you want to offer an early bedtime. Many moms are worried, should I offer a nap around 6:30? Because, they become anxious. What is going to happen with the baby? But it's okay. Your baby won't wake up. Normally, it will take some time for your baby to regulate to a new schedule, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you some essentials when you take naps on the go. Please use a stroller, a portable white noise machine. I really love the Yoga Sleep. I also provide I think last week on Instagram, I gave you a tip to set up a white noise machine on your phone. If maybe you forget the white noise machine, and remember the no blanket rule. Is very important to remember that if you put a blanket and it is summertime, that can be very hot inside where your babies are sleeping, and we don't want that any accident. Maybe instead you want to use like a stroller shade that is approved by the American Academy of Pediatrics, and you will have peace of mind. Do we have any questions so far about what I'm talking about? Or can we
there's one question in the chat. I don't know if you want to touch it now or later, but it says, for high energy 2-year-old toddlers, it takes a lot to get him to nap, to actually put him down. Do you have any suggestions?
Okay. Is because I know we have to 2 years old. So yeah, maybe I can write it down, and we will respond that later. Taking long to take a nap. Okay, perfect.
So we'll leave that to the end. All right.
Yes. Okay, so let's say that you have a fantastic day outside. My suggestion here, if you don't want to end up like me feeling miserable, it is important that before you leave home, leave everything ready, like food, feedings, diaper, ointment, everything you need, so you are better prepared and you will have less chaos in your life. Remember, a tired child will need more assistance to sleep. Be patient and stay calm. I firmly believe that emotions are contagious. If you are in a rush, if you are feeling overwhelmed, do your best to practice some relaxation techniques, some breathing techniques, because the more you are anxious, the more you transmit those emotions to your baby. You can start your routine for that mom that is having some issues. You can download my guide. I talk everything about routines. You can find that on my website for free. So it is a complete guide about the importance of routines, and it will show you like a chart of the your child's sleep needs, wake windows, and all the things you need to get your child in the right schedule.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you're on the go, like if you are not home, you recommend that the best place for them to take that nap is in the stroller?
I mean, it depends on where you are. Maybe if you are, at your mom's home and you have like like a little crib or bassinet, yeah, but it depends. But if you are outside, maybe you wanna, yeah, I think the best place to put a baby down is in the stroller, because a car seat, depending on your baby's age, they can be like more risky.
Yeah. So with the stroller, would you say that like it kind of works because they get used to taking those naps on the go and it's like a familiar place? So no matter where you are, the stroller, it's like a comfortable place, or that doesn't really matter?
It depends on the child. There are babies that, and also depends on the association you create, because I firmly believe that human beings create positive or negative associations. If you have left your baby to cry out in the stroller, he's not having a good time, maybe he's going to show some resistance. It's the same way as we manage like cribs. Like some babies hate the crib. They don't want to stay in the crib. It's because sometimes they have created like negative associations with the crib. I don't know, like,
Okay, that makes sense.
clear enough. But yes, especially I love the stroller, because I don't know if it happens to you, but whenever I am in a plane or in a car and I have some motions, it makes me feel like drowsy and sleepy. So for most babies, taking a nap in the stroller is a good option. Okay. I'm gonna give you some tips about vacation tips. I don't know if you maybe have any more questions about naps on the go. The most important thing is to get to know yourself, get to know your baby, and keep a balance. I would say that's the conclusion I have about naps on the go. Okay, let's move on. What time is it? Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna give you some tips about how to handle like vacation if you are on the go. Maybe you want to apply all the tips you have learned for naps on the go. But my first advice here is, like when you are on vacation, don't stress about like schedules. Just relax, and your baby will scream when we need rest. Your baby will scream for help, and maybe you wanna, of course, you wanna follow your baby's routines, but don't get stressed about that. For example, I'm gonna give you my case. When my kids were 2 years old, they were taking a nap around midday, and we traveled to Mexico. I was able to tweak the whole schedule. They usually go to bed around 7:30. I try to push the nap a little bit later, so they will be able to have like a later bedtime. I made sure next day everything was dark, and they were able to be happy in Cancun, in Mexico. We were having a great time. I remember sometimes I offer the nap in the hotel, in the room, but sometimes we were having a good time in the pool, around the pool. So I put the strollers, and they were sleeping, even with music and everything. So it's about getting to know your baby, and just relax and trust your intuition, as we were talking before. And yes, but everything is going to be fine.
Yeah. Usually babies have those signs, just like when you're like potty training, they have those early signs. And I think one of the key things, and correct me, is to catch those signs early on, so that you don't get the overtired baby that then is screaming at the top of the lungs, and then it's impossible to get them to sleep. But my
Exactly.
question was going to be in terms of when you travel to other places that have a different time zone. It could be like from Florida to California, it's just a 3 hour difference, or you can go to Europe, it's like a whole thing. Do you go by their original sleep time at home because it takes them a while, or do you say no, it's noon, it's supposed to be bedtime here, but like how do you manage when it's like a different time zone that you're on a vacation?
Yeah, it depends. If your vacation is very short, if you're going to spend only a couple of days, 3 days, and you can keep your regular schedule, I would stick with your schedule. Even if you have to wake up a little early or a little late, I would keep that. If you are traveling to a different zone, maybe it depends, because depends of your goals. If you want your baby to wake up later, or if you want your baby to wake up, like, you have to offer a maybe a dark room. It depends. It depends. But one recommendation that I can give, I am a little bit against of melatonin, but maybe to regulate your baby's body clock, maybe you want to offer some melatonin at bedtime, and expose your baby to sunlight first thing in the morning, so they can regulate that their body clock can be synchronized with the new time. But as I said, if you're going to spend just a couple of days, I would leave everything as it is, so you don't get, overwhelmed. But if you are going to spend more than, a couple of weeks, maybe you want to expose your baby to sunlight so they can synchronize. Yeah, I'm repeating, but yeah, I just want to make sure you understand that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Tips for air travel. Don't forget the pacifier. Make a list of all the things you will do. I know this sounds like, okay, it's a simple thing to do, but not many people do that. Like, make sure you take the time to make a list so you are better prepared. Plan for delays, bring a toy. I'm really bad remembering like brands and everything. But there are, I remember Alexa gave us some suggestions about like what kind of toys we can bring when we are in, on vacation, or, like in an airplane.
Yes.
Maybe we can send those links later. I also suggest to book a flight AM or in the afternoon to ensure you arrive at your destination on time and your baby can sleep through the night and be more rested the next day. Of course, that's optional, but if you can, that's a good option. Check with the airline. There are airlines that are baby friendly and they provide like bassinets, or they can heat the milk. And if you are stuck with a baby, maybe you want to bring like your headsets, you want to download some like your favorite podcast so you don't get like super bored while you are traveling with your baby.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you recommend booking flights to match their nap time? Like if I know he takes a noon nap, I should try to be on the airplane then, or like it's more important that they arrive and have a good night's sleep?
Yeah, I prefer that. I mean, it's just like airplanes are suiting, I mean, depending on your baby, but if you are holding your baby, they will fall asleep eventually. So I would focus on making sure your baby's going to have a good night's sleep. Because you also need to be rest for, enjoying your vacation. Of course, if you found a ticket where you can go on your baby's naps, is fantastic, but I don't want you to become too obsessed about that. But yeah, that could be a great option. Also, you can call the hotel. There are many hotels that offer like a crib, or there are so many sleep consultants that promote the slumber pod. It's like a cover where you put the pack and play, and your baby will sleep in a very dark environment. I have never recommended that, but I know it's pretty popular. If you want to check it out, we can send also the link. And also make sure you don't forget your baby's favorite attached toys so they can feel like they are home. I remember my kids were very attached to like a small pillows, and whenever I go, I will take them with me so they can feel more comfortable.
My son left his in California and I paid $50 so that they could ship it back home. And when we got home, he stopped using, like he was like, no, ma, it's okay. And I was attached to the thing because it was 5 years since we had this little bunny, and I was like, no, we can't leave it. and I paid $50 just to ship them. And then like 2 or 3 days later, he was over it. Like he had grown out of it. I mean, I used it for 5 years, and my recommendation is always get 2 of the same, because if you lose one, you'll have the other one. My mistake is that he found both of them, so then we were traveling with 2 bunnies. But
Oh,
it's a great help, especially like if your son doesn't use a pacifier like mine did. The attachment thing, it was a lifesaver for us.
and I think we moms worry more about like those kind of situations. I remember it happened the same to me. Like I was so freaked out. Oh my God, I need to order. I remember my son left his little pillow in a hotel. So I was making sure I was telling my husband, please, I need the address where we're gonna arrive because I need the pillow, like the perfect pillow. And my son was completely okay. He didn't even care. Sometimes we put like more stress about those kind of situations, but yeah, it is what it is. We are moms. My last recommendation here is say yes to simple plans with your baby. Sometimes we overload, we are so excited, we want to do so many things, but remember, you are dealing with a little baby, depending on your baby's age, but set up realistic expectation, opt for simple plans during this vacation. Remember, in the blink of an eye, your family will be able to take longer trips or plan more elaborate activities.
You're going to miss those naps. I'm telling you, you're going to miss the time where they actually nap. Now they don't nap.
Oh, I know. And even like for me, now that my kids are 7, I was always, I didn't want to sleep with them because I have like a light sleep. But now I'm the one that I'm looking for them. Can you please sleep with me? So yeah. But I know it's hard when you are living the moment. Okay, so guys, if you wanna download my sleep guide, is very wonderful resource. I'm here
I'm
giving
going
you.
to look for the link while you
It's
answer.
on my website. It's on my website, and I was planning to have ready, but I couldn't like finish. I'm working on a travel sleep guide where I will go deep down, and I will give you more tips to plan your trip, like packing checklist, tips for travel tips for plane travel, what to bring on the plane, and most important, what to do when you arrive home, when you get home, my favorite travel products. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish my guide, but if you're interested,
Okay.
yeah.
You have to put the email and your name to get the guide. Okay, I'm just gonna put your URL, and if you scroll down to the Power of Sleep Routines, you can get the guide.
That's all for today. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. I offer, if you have like challenges, sleep challenges, I'm more than happy to help. I work with children 0 to 7 years old. I offer one-on-one support. If you maybe who knows, like if we get more than 5 families interested in putting together a workshop, I would be more than happy to help you navigate all your sleep challenges, implementing a holistic approach. And that's my Instagram, my email, my website, so we are connected now. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop my presentation, and we can, go with the questions we receive.
Yeah, so some people, when they register, they either reply back to the email with some questions, or they fill up the form. And I've been collecting those so that Sandra, could have those, and we would take some time at the end to talk about those. So we'll do those plus the one that Marsha just added in the chat, because those are more like, I'm gonna say, like sleep related questions, not more like travel, but I think it would be helpful. Some of those answers might help some of you in the line as well. So if you have anything specific, this is the chance to kind of write it down in the chat. We have a few more minutes to talk about this. So let's get on it.
Yes. Okay. The first question is 2.5 and 5-year-old doesn't sleep well, hard to get to bed, meltdowns, sensory issues, and extremely disobedient, not following rules. He was dismissed from his first school. This is the perfect example of the importance of playing detective. As I was saying, it could be unprofessional for me just tell this mom, okay, I'm gonna implement a sleep training method and you are gonna follow this schedule because there are so many things here. Maybe we need to discuss with the doctor about these kids' sensory issues, how to handle those meltdowns, or there are so many tips that you can offer to provide comfort to your child so he can be more, calm at bedtime. So that's why it is important to take a holistic approach so you don't get frustrated because you are not getting results. But I have a couple of suggestions here. I just want to remind you that bedtime is hard for so many kids because if you think about it, there is a huge separation, like in terms of hours that you are going to be separated from your favorite person in the whole world, which is, parents. Kids love to be around us. They prefer us over sleeping. And also, your baby is exploring the world. That's why I always tell my clients to invest your time in providing like a very special bedtime, because you can offer that tranquility, that calmness that your baby or even all of us need before you go to sleep. I always tell my clients as well, if you know you are around robots, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to fall asleep because you know you are in danger. Like, kids have another kind of problems, but we parents need to provide that security that our kids needs to feel like relaxed at bedtime. Also, I would need to check what you're doing, in terms of a schedule. I know around 2.5 years, many kids start resisting the nap. So we have to make sure you can find that information on my sleep guide. If your routine, maybe your wake windows are, too short for your baby, maybe it's time to extend that. Another recommendation here is don't drop that nap, because your baby, your toddler will need that nap until at least they are 3 years old. So don't give up. Also, we have to, I have seen many babies that they start resisting naps, and or maybe they are taking like too much daytime sleep or too little daytime sleep. We need to make sure your baby has an age appropriate schedule. And also, don't forget about creating positive associations with sleep. As I was saying before, if you left your baby to cry out, for example, in the crib, I'm not judging you. I just telling you, like informing you, like human beings create a positive or negative associations about something. So you have to make sure your baby, your toddler, feels familiar with the place where they are gonna spend the whole night. Okay, so the second question is, and the second question is in Espanol, in Spanish. So maybe we can just, what do you think?
I just translate. It's fine.
Okay. So should I say it in Spanish? I don't know if the mom is even.
Do it in English.
Okay, so how to help my kid to fall asleep when the sun is out? I always say that kids learn better, and I suppose Miss Alexa is agree with me, that babies and toddlers can learn better through visual images or stories. So maybe you want to use your imagination. I always was telling my kids, okay, so the moon and the sun, they are a team, and during the summertime, the sun is in charge. So maybe he will work more hours while the moon is interesting. It depends on your baby's age. You can create a little story to explain to your kids why the sun is out, but at the same time, if your room is dark enough and you start your routine and everything is dark, I have one rule of thumb. If you want to make sure your room is dark enough, you won't be able to read a book in the room. So if you start your bed routine in the room, there shouldn't be a problem if the sun is outside, like the sun is out. The third question
I'll
is,
give you my tips on that one.
of course, yes.
Story time. I tell them, oh, the son forgot to go to bed, but you are going to go to bed because you are, like I always say, like, oh my God, he forgot to go to bed, and the moon, he needs to call them and tell them he needs to go to sleep.
Exactly.
And one of my things that I invested was the first thing I put in my baby's room was the blackout curtains.
Exactly. Yes. Very important.
There's a struggle to get them in the room, but once you're in the room and you put your little night light and the room is dark, they forget that there's sun outside. But if they see it, it's hard. So getting them into the room is a challenge. But if you have a bedtime routine that's consistent, if you do like we do shower, we do brushing your teeth, we put pajamas, and we go to bed. If you continue that routine, even though the sun is outside, in their brain, the next step would be to go to the room to read books. And once you get them in there, it's completely dark with your little nightlight. It has the same routine as before, and that has worked for us.
Yeah. I know it's hard to get, as you were saying, it's hard to put their babies or the children in the room, but I have a tip for you. I never tell my kids, for example, you are gonna go to sleep, because they don't wanna go to sleep. So I always tell them, okay, now it's story time. Let's read some books, and they were super excited. So okay, yeah, but like maybe you're gonna fall asleep later, but I made sure they don't associate this time of the day with like something boring, like sleep. I was always telling them, okay, now is story time, and they were pretty excited about it. And I also apply that with my baby's clients. Okay, and the next question is, my 13-month-old son is waking up in the middle of the night for something to drink. At first, I thought he was just wanted to comfort feed with formula from the bottle, but whether I give him formula or water, he seems eager for the drink at 2 a.m., sometimes at 4:30. Is it normal for little ones to be thirsty after long summer days, or is he seeking comfort? As I've been saying, babies can wake up for different reasons, for so many factors. But one thing I have to say here is around like your baby's age, around 12, 13 months, babies are learning to walk. And when they are learning to walk, they are super excited that they even want to practice that new milestone in the middle of the night. So my first suggestion here, I see a lot of 12 months old babies regressing asleep because they are like learning to walk. So my first advice here is to allow some times during the day so your baby can practice their new skill. Also, sometimes, we don't know if that baby is hungry or thirsty, because sometimes they want to suck. They are looking for ways to connect the sleep cycle. So maybe they need that comfort. We would need to get to know, the whole story. But one suggestion here is that you may want to increase the number of calories during the day to prevent hunger at night. Maybe you want to keep your child hydrated during the day, or maybe you want to offer some, depending, it's a 13-month-old, maybe you want to offer like a sippy cup or something to drink before your baby goes to bed. Make sure they don't drink that much, because they can go to they would need they can wet the diaper more. But yes, my suggestion here is to increase calories during the day and keep your child hydrated during the day, so he doesn't need that. I feel like at this age, depending on, what you're doing during the day, they might don't need that drink in the middle of the night. But I can tell right now if with little information.
Awesome. And there's one more in the chat. I think
No,
there's
I have another one
Oh,
here.
you have one more? Okay, but you have another one, and then there's another one in the chat.
Yeah,
Also,
I think this one. I
2-year-olds.
think this one is from Sandy, and she's being very patient, and we cannot
Oh,
forget her.
you have Sandy, Marsha, and then Sandy's sister is in the chat too. So.
Oh, okay. So, having a hard time with sleep with my 2-year-old question. Okay, my 26-month daughter has been getting out of her bed every night, saying she's scared, and now she wants to sleep with us. We'd let her sleep a couple of nights with us in our bed, then began putting her back to bed every time she came to our room. It happens night times, putting her back. And then last night, we took her to bed over 20 times. She finally fell asleep and then was up again at 1 a.m. My husband is asleep on the floor. He said she was shaking. Oh my God, poor girl. And crying too, and crying so much. He took her to bed and sleep the rest of the night in our bed. Okay, so are we traumatized? I don't know how to pronounce this. Traumatizing her? Traumatizando? How do we fix this?
Traumatizing.
Traumatizing. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Alexa. Okay, so my first recommendation, and I know it might not be a possibility for you, is that if possible, your daughter should go back to the crib, because I know it's hard for some families, but children at this age, for kids under 2 years old, they don't have the cognitive skill to understand imaginary boundaries. And when you tell them, like, be in the bed, is very hard for them to follow those kind of rules. If that's not a possibility, make sure your baby's room, your toddler room is childproof, and you have to be very patient. I know this, your daughter was sleeping well, but remember, as they grow, they have some issues understanding, like, fantasy over what, like, things that are real. They maybe they can get scared around like 3 years, 4 years. They understand that the world might be scary, and they might wake up because of nightmares and things like that. I do recommend that maybe you wanna, like you said, maybe your husband can sleep, or you can sleep in her room rather than moving her to your room. I always say that you shouldn't do things that you don't want to keep in the long term. If you don't want a bed share with your baby, maybe you don't want to do that. As I was saying, maybe you want to explore during non-sleep periods why your toddler is having, like, why she's scared. You need to check for emotional reasons. You need to check your schedule. You need to check so many things. But most importantly is, like, you make sure, for a toddler, it is very important that maybe you show images of the things you expect around bedtime. You can always, and I also have a tip on my Instagram, that maybe you want to take some pictures while your baby is sleeping. So next day you show to your daughter that mom or dad is always taking care of her, because we don't know why she's so scared. We already covered that around 2 years old, there is like a sleep regression. There is like a second wave of separation anxiety. So you have to be very compassionate with your daughter, understand what is the real reason why your babies wake up, have them on a age-appropriate schedule. Maybe you want to caps like naps to make sure she's not getting too much daytime sleep. And yeah, maybe for a couple of days you want to stay with her in the room, and maybe then after she feels calm, you can start moving like the mattress or whatever, like a little bit farther, so she gets used to it, but she doesn't go to your bed.
And I want to add in as well something in there from a play perspective. We know that around 3 years old, that's when they get very vivid nightmares. It is true that they do get those nightmares. And one of the things that you can kind of try to figure it out into the world is doing some pretend play. So during the day, take some time to pretend that you're putting the baby to sleep, and then maybe she can play, she's the baby, and then she can start vocalizing, because now they have the language, they can start kind of talking about the reality. So pretend play at this age, it's a moment where they can reenact safely what's going on in their world. So you can play and see what's happening, and you can help that little toy baby fall asleep and make sure, whatever routine you say, let them know that they're safe, that mommy is there, that they're always going to be, taken care of. On the other hand, make sure that you are controlling, and I don't know if you do screen time, but if you do, that you limit that as much as you can, especially if you watch things like CoComelon that are really fast-paced videos. Those trigger things in the brain, and those things can harm sleep. If you put any screen time, no matter what screen time, 1 hour before to bed, you will have issues with sleep. So I would control the screen time if you do screen time at home, and try to use pretend play during the day to reenact those places and try to, be in her room. Make sure like she feels she is safe. So go there, read books, have time in there. That sleep is not like, this room is not just a scary place that you only go there when it's dark and it's night and I'm gonna leave you alone, but make it part of, like, it's a special place where we read, a special place where we do special things that don't normally do around the house on other things. So like maybe that's where you go and you do like a tickle battle. So she starts associating those goods, and use pretend play to try to figure out, is it a book that she read? Is it an image that she saw on TV? Or where are these vivid things coming from? On the other side, it's a good thing because you are knowing that she is starting to have that imagination. So she's developing normally, that she's, it's a normal part of the development. They're going to start creating better stories. Maybe during the day, you're going to start catching her lying, because now their vivid imagination is alive. And that's part of language development, is part of development. And, it affects the sleep because they also get very creative when it comes to nighttime. Sorry, Sandra, I just wanted to.
I love it. I love it. I know that we're a great team, Miss Alexa. Okay. That's it?
We have the two in the chat.
Okay.
So Marsha says, for high energy 2-year-old toddlers, it takes a lot to get him to nap. Any suggestions?
Okay, as I was saying, around 2 years old, they start stretching the wake window. So make sure, for 2 years, the wake window should be something between 5.5 to 7 hours sometimes. So make sure from the time your toddler wakes up, make sure you follow a wake window around 5.5, 7 hours. I don't know, because maybe okay, my baby's not ready, he's ready to drop the nap, but no, maybe is that he's not ready to be put down around midday. Maybe you can offer that nap around 1 or 1:30. I recommend to keep a sleep log so you can better understand your baby's sleep needs. Also, you can perform a mini routine, everything that you do at night. If your baby has a lot of energy, maybe you wanna calm him down. Maybe you wanna make sure the room is dark. You put the white noise machine, and maybe read a little story so your baby can be more prepared to sleep. But one thing that is very important is to check, because I know it happened to me the same. Like my daughter was resisting the nap and I started, logging. And the thing is that she needed a later bedtime. And that's most of the case what happens with 2-year-old toddlers.
Yeah. A lot of people at that age, they implement what they call like the quiet time, the wind down. We can do like the busy bins, at that time, because you can't expect them with your outside playing with your bike, and then all of a sudden you have all this adrenaline and then put them to bed. Their body is still on a high. So if you do that and you give them like an hour of doing puzzles and doing activities that are more like stick down, or maybe some fine motor skills, like something that's kind of like get those energy levels a little bit like down, that transition to the nap will be better. And if it's an issue of maybe you're putting him too early, to start try to moving that to try to fit that new time. Once you figure it out, then he's gonna change again, and you're gonna have to figure it out again, because we're mothers, right? They gotta keep us on our toes at all times. And then once you figure it out, then they don't nap anymore, and then it's another issue. So a quiet time from a play perspective would be a good way to implement, along with moving that nap to maybe a later time. And then the last one I think that we have here is from Sandy's sister, another 2-year-old. 2-year-old has slept with her since she was born. How does it transition her to her room and crib?
Okay, yeah, that's a little, it's a little hard to do, especially if she has been sleeping with her daughter. Is a little girl, right? Yeah, okay, so the first thing you can do is to do what we call a crib acclimation, or I suppose at 2 years old, they need a crib. So maybe you want to do a crib acclimation. You want to make sure you play with your daughter, with your toddler during non-sleep periods in her crib to make sure she feels familiar. As I was saying, that maybe you can camp with your daughter in her room. You can play, as Miss Alexa was saying, that you can play during non-sleep periods. She can see this place as a fun place, as a happy place. And when you're going to do that transition, maybe sometimes I start at bedtime when the sleep pressure is higher. The need for sleep, if you're not familiar with what a sleep pressure is like the need for sleep. Around that time, if your toddler, I'm sorry, it's just I'm always working with babies. If your toddler has an age-appropriate schedule and is ready to sleep, that they can transition well into the crib. I will start the process at bedtime. Maybe if she's struggling a bit, maybe you can spend the rest of the night in your bed, but at least you are starting at bedtime. After that, we will work on naps. After your baby is used to the crib or the place where she's gonna spend most of the nights, you are gonna handle wake up times, but it's very hard to do the transition and respond that question in only, just give you some ideas. You should do the crib acclimation, make sure your baby feels happy in the place where she's gonna sleep, and start the process at bedtime.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. This was extremely helpful. I know the moms gain a lot of value. At this moment, I'm going to see if I can start.
Sandy's saying, I'll start this all tonight. I have a recommendation here. Sometimes